Hey, what's going on? You know who it is. You know what it is. All right, you guys, peep game. All right, so I'm gonna play you guys some audio, and we're gonna have a discussion about it. And this is gonna be a lengthy video, but at the end of the day, I gotta speak my truth and I gotta give my opinion on this particular subject. I've made videos pertaining to this, and we got to have this discussion. But, you know, basically what I've been saying for years has been verified by the actual people, So let's just take a listen, and then I'll come back with the commentary later on. Oh, by the way, shout out to Phil Scott. I borrowed some of the audio from his channel, so some of the audio was borrowed from the African Diaspora Network. So shout out to Philip Scott. I like to give people their props. So, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Philip Scott. So let's get it cracking.
Listen to me because let's talk about this shit, because this shit is so fucking true. A lot of Hispanic and Latino parents will literally try to teach you at a young age to not be friends with black people, and it's fucking disgusting. They show you racism, anti-blackness, like colorism at a fucking young age. You could be a dark-skinned Latino, and yet you will get a lot of fucking hate. Not only that, media will even fucking show that shit too. Where literally they show that white Latinos are literally rich, smart, educated, and they're always holy. But when it comes to black people or Afro-Latinos, they're ghetto, they're poor, uneducated, and they're criminals. And not only that, a lot of these celebrities believe this shit too. And also, they do blackface. And that's why a lot of people don't want to unite when it comes to the Hispanic and Latino community, because of the amount of fucking anti-blackness, the racism towards black people. And not only that, y'all forget that literally black people have influenced our fucking community so much, from technology, from food, to even music. And some of y'all bitches be dancing to those music that literally were influenced by black people.
Let's get into it. I think this is a conversation we should be having more often. I start discussing race in Mexico, and everybody wants to come for me. Because this is what they're saying. Race is not to be addressed in Latin American countries. Addressing of race is only a USA thing. No, it's not a US thing, because guess what? Racism is not just a US thing. Oppression is not just a US thing. Colorism and classism is not just a US thing. And yes, in our country, in Mexico, we experience lots of classism and colorism. And guess what comes hand in hand with that? Racism. And guys, there's a huge resistance to the shit I'm bringing up here, which is crazy to me how people don't realize that it's low-key racist what they're telling me, to not bring up blackness in Mexico. What the hell? Most Mexicans are racist and they don't even fucking know it. If you've never experienced racist energy with Mexicans, it's because you're good. You're privileged. And you don't get to say it doesn't exist because you haven't experienced it. You haven't experienced racist energy amongst your own people? Consider yourself lucky. I have light skin privilege amongst my own people, but because of that, I've been able to pick up on some crazy racist shit white Mexicans be saying right in front of me without truly knowing my background. This whole mejorando la raza shit is one of them. Basically what this means is, let's better the race. We need to better the race rather than ruin it. Mexicans be saying this shit for real, out in the open. If you're white and you bring in home a moreno or a dark skinned person, there's gonna be a conversation that your family's gonna have with you. There's gonna be resistance to that. It's real. This is real life.
Okay, so what you just heard commentary from what I presume is a Mexican man, and this was very interesting. This is a Mexican lady, but she identifies as Afro Mexican. Um, she basically is from Mexico, but her father, who is black, but he is Mexican, and her mother's like indigenous or whatever you want to call it. You know, she looked kind of white to me, but you know, whatever. Um, she's pretty much she's pretty much saying that she is, you know, black, but she identifies as a Afro Mexican. And a lot of people don't know. I've been saying this for years. Mexico has always had black people there. They have areas where they have black Mexicans, just like Colombia, just like Brazil, just like other El Salvador, Panama. You know, people got to understand, when they started snatching people up from Africa, they took the slaves everywhere, everywhere. They didn't just go to the States. They went to Europe first, and they took them everywhere. They took them everywhere. They just didn't take them to the United States. They took the slaves everywhere. And then, you know, you had people coming colonizing as well. So that's another video for another day. But basically, they was just talking about the racism directed towards blacks by, in particularly, Mexicans. Now, I've done videos about this several times, saying, you know, there is no black and brown alliance. It doesn't exist, and it's never existed. It's a facade. It's cap. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying all Mexicans, you know, feel this way about black people, but a lot of them do. And I could tell from personal experience. And I'm going to tie this all together, you know, and I could tell you I can relate to what she's talking about and what the other dude is talking about. And I appreciate their honesty, you know, because like I said, I've been saying this, you know, as a content creator, even when I talk about boxing, I can just give, you know, a brother props, and then you'll hear somebody saying something that you will deem as suspect racist, and then you look at the last name, it's a Hispanic name, you know, and then sometimes even when you give a Hispanic fighter credit, people still say you're not giving them props, or they will accuse you of hating on them because they're Mexican. I give the credit when the credit is due. That's just real talk. But from personal experience, both of them have a point. And this is why I'm not fond of Hispanics, in particularly white Hispanics, or, you know, just Hispanics in general, saying the N-word. Because I think to a certain degree, they really disguising it as ER, which it ain't no difference. Y'all know y'all ain't supposed to be saying that word. But I can just tell you, being from California, you know, my experience going down to Southern California, you could just clearly see the tension between blacks and Mexicans, you know. And please don't come here with the, well, you know, that's not true town and all that kind of stuff. I love black people. Okay. You really, please don't make me go there. And I want you to pay close attention to what she said in the video about if you bring a black person home to a Mexican family, a black man, to meet, let's just say he's dating your daughter, and you bring him home, the conversation is going to get tense. And that's so true, because I've heard this. I've heard this, and I've seen this with my own eyes. And it's kind of funny. Don't you remember what George Lopez said when he made that joke that got him that had a lot of people, you know, kind of like, hey, George. But, you know, of course, you know, dudes like D.L. Hughley came to his rescue and stuff. And like I said, I've said this several times. And like I said, I understand what both of them is saying. Like I said before, people like our culture. They like our creativity. They like the things we come up with. They just don't necessarily like the people that created. And that's just real talk. And I know another YouTuber, he got a video where he's talking about basically the same thing. I'm not going to say this dude's name because I don't want to be accused of clout chasing and all this kind of stuff. But he said some stuff that I agree with 100%. And I've talked about this. He said, if you work on a job, a lot of times your supervisor, if he Mexican, he give you the hardest time. And I could tell you that from close experience. When I've worked at certain jobs with temp agencies and the supervisor or the boss may be Mexican, or you go to a job where it's primarily Mexicans, I've seen from close hand experience where they would try to sabotage the black dude. They'll try to get him fired. They'll be saying that he's lazy and he don't want to work because that's a stigma that they put on us. And it's kind of funny. I've been at my job for, almost 10 years. And the funny thing is they've hired a lot of Hispanics and they would end up quitting and being considered to be lazy by standards on the job and stuff. But, they love to put that stigma on black people. We helped build this country, the United States. Of course, we don't get no credit for it, but we helped make this country what it is today. But like I said before, they was just talking about the colorism, how they taught not to like or respect blacks. So like I said before, I didn't heard this from other people, just like that cornball Jay Miller. He said the same thing. I think he said his wife is Mexican or something. And he said that her family used to act funny style towards him, that they really didn't like him because he was black. And that's pretty much what he said. But yeah, don't you remember that joke George Lopez said? And everybody's like, oh, okay. And then, of course, you had black people putting on their cape, oh man, y'all being too emotional. Like I said before, everybody is allowed to disrespect us. But like I said, when we issue that disrespect back, then here everybody come, hey man, you can't say stuff like that. And look, like I told you, now, like I said, in Northern California, me being from Northern California, I mean, you could see it. You have what you call the Chicanos, or the Americanized or the hip hop Hispanics, where they try to, act all urban, and them the ones that I kind of, to a certain degree, I kind of don't respect them because, like I said before, they be trying too hard. Like I said, be saying the N-word, and then they just be walking up to random black people that they don't know, say, hey, my dude, my end and all. And I'll be looking at them like they crazy. I may give you a pass for the first couple of times, but then after a while, I'm going to get to the point where I'm like, okay, I think dude trying to be funny. I may ignore you the first couple of times, but then when I think you trying to be funny, because a lot of times they be trying to be funny. And I notice sometimes even in public, when they get around black people, they just start, cutting loose with it. You start, and the Asians be doing that too. And that's how I know that they be trying to be funny with that. And that's why I was telling black people, encouraging, well, you know what? Maybe we need to start giving them a taste of their own medicine. Maybe we need to start calling them the derogatory slurs for them and give them a taste of their own medicine. But, at the end of the day, you're going to always have black people that's going to defend, go out of their way to defend people that don't look like them. And as I've been saying before, there is no such thing as no black and brown alliance. That is just factual. That is the actual truth. I think you need to know the difference between a associate, maybe a friend, and alliance. Alliance is somebody that's willing to go through the fire, that's willing to die alongside you. Do you really think that you really think that's the case? And before you start saying, when George Floyd got killed, they was marching alongside black people yelling out Black Lives Matter. Yeah, and at the same time, when they was yelling out Black Lives Matter, they was telling you, hey, I got a restaurant over here, I got a car wash, hey, I got some kind of business. So basically at the same time, they was marching and advertising. Boom! Drop the mic on y'all asses. So, you don't want to play these games with me. Like I said, I'm a truthful guy. And I'm not saying that they all think like that, but a lot of them do. A lot of them do. And as you can see, both of them said that they've been coming for them, especially the girl saying, hey, you shouldn't be talking about this kind of stuff. Is they telling her not to talk about it because they trying to fix the situation, or they don't want her to talk about it because it's factual and they don't want people to know that they're doing this. But I already knew it. I've known it for a while now. You know what I'm saying? I've known it for a long time. So like I said, I could just give you plenty of examples. And I done seen Hispanic YouTubers that then diss black people and be disrespecting black people. Like I said, a lot of people can dish it out, but when we respond, then they want to play victim. So, like I said, I appreciate the honesty with both of these people because, like I said, at the end of the day, we don't have to get along. We don't have to like each other, but at the end of the day, we can respect each other. But that's the problem. They don't want to respect us. They want to not like us and be able to disrespect us. But then, like I said, a lot of us allow it. You got people that'll attack me that look like me for the littlest thing, but then they'll give them more leeway than, you know what I'm saying, than a KKK member or, a neo-Nazi. Like I said before, George Lopez made his comments, and black people was pissed and just saying, oh, okay, cool. And then, like I said, you had black people, caping for George Lopez. But then when somebody say something about them, then here they come. Just like when Adrian Broner said what he said, which if you can hear him clearly, he said basically, he said, I don't discriminate against nobody when it comes to these fights. Anybody can get it. He said, I don't care what you are. And then he said, I just happen to have beat him. And then Oscar De La Hoya went on this tirade. This is when Adrian Broner was with Golden Boy. This is when he was with Golden Boy. And Oscar De La Hoya said that was offensive, and he was kind of offended as a Mexican. Go figure. But this is the same Oscar De La Hoya that talked about black fighters and said black fighters fight like cowards and all that kind of stuff. And they run and all this kind of stuff. And then later on, you hear about these emails. So like I said before, this has been a long time problem, a long time problem that people don't want to address and want to pretend that it doesn't exist. Like I say, black people get racism from everybody. You know what I'm saying? We get it from everybody. And particularly black men. The thing is, everybody wanna screw around with our women, but then if we date they women, then everybody's eyes getting all big and everybody rolling their eyes and all that kind of stuff. So like I said before, it's just real talk. There's never been no black and brown alliance. It's cap. It's been cap. Like I said before. My own personal experience. Like I said before, Southern California, I'm talking about this out in the open in Southern California. When you go down there, you can see the tension. And don't be fooled by no rappers, you know, doing other videos and songs with black rappers. That's for business purposes. At the end of the day, you think these dudes really care and they trying to fix the problem? No, they doing it because they want to sell records. They want to sell concert tickets. They want to get endorsements and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, they don't see color when it comes to green, but don't think that they doing this because they care. At the end of the day, nobody I could tell you right now, nobody cares who's buying their records or who's making them rich. You know what I'm saying? But they'll say they stuff when we ain't around. They'll let us know how they feel when we ain't around. That's just real talk. But anyway, I needed to get this off my chest. Appreciate it. This video gonna take forever to load, but it is what it is. Anyway, this your boy Town Biz. I'm out.